Hey, it's PB at Kotaku. I hope you all been doing well. We're about a third into November, and we're also closing in on the holidays. There's been lots of ups and downs recently, but we're still alive and kicking. During some of my recent runs to Ross, I bought some 4-inch Sonic the Hedgehog action figures by Jakks. I got Vector, Classic Amy Rose, and Modern Amy Rose. I even made some shorts about these action figures. However, after uploading the second one, I got some interesting comments. Aren't these bootleg? They're bootlegs. They look bootleg. Max's Atlantic. Those are bootleg. If not, why would Ross send them? With so many similar comments, I was wondering what was going on, so I did a search for Sonic Ross bootleg, and here are some results. There was a bit of discussion on both Reddit and Twitter about this, but to trim everything down, there's a wave of 4-inch Sonic the Hedgehog action figures by Jakks currently at Ross that are of low quality compared to other action figures. The Modern Amy Rose I found was among the action figures in question. It's the exact one I bought. People are a little divided as to whether these are bootlegs or factory rejects. Genuine bootlegs, huh? That's a bit of a dichotomy, but I understand what they're trying to say. After going through the threads, it seems like opinions are split down the middle. Sonic News Merch claims they are able to confirm these figures as bootleg, but I would take that with a grain of salt due to no source being provided. As of this video, there's no official confirmation from Jakks as to whether these are bootleg or not. For right now, with what I'm seeing, and going off my experience with fakes in the anime figure scene, rather than counterfeits, bootlegs, or fakes, I think these are action figures that didn't pass quality control. I think defective would be a better term to use than factory rejects. Check out this photo of a bunch of Saber figures that didn't pass quality control. I don't know what happens with these, but I assume they get tossed in the trash. Some people in the hobby speculate these defects end up finding their way to the bootleggers, and that's how all the fakes appear. Given how expensive anime figures can be, I could understand bootlegs appearing in that scene. These Jakks action figures, however, they're already so cheap, I can't imagine it's worth the time and investment into bootlegging them. Well, let's take a look at this Modern Amy and see how bad she really is. Before I open anything, I want to do a comparison of the packaging. While I don't have another Modern Amy bought from somewhere like Target or Walmart, let's be real, I ain't spending any more money to get a double. I have this Vector action figure, and to my knowledge, it's legit. I've heard no problems regarding the authenticity of this figure. Vector and Modern Amy's packaging are similar, so I think it's appropriate to compare. For anime figures, one sign of a bootleg is poorly made packaging, assuming it even has a box at all. For reference, here's a legit figure box, and here are some bootleg boxes. On the second image, you could even make out the lines from whatever crappy inkjet printer they used to make that image. Ugh, bad. Here's some of my tips on spotting bootlegs just from examining their boxes. They tend to have oversaturated colors, overly high contrast, a low resolution or DPI, lack of stamps or license stickers, and they tend to have poor durability. I took a really good look at both Modern Amy's and Vector's packaging, and while it's probably hard to see the differences through camera, it wasn't any easier with my own eyes. As far as saturation goes, Modern Amy's packaging was only slightly darker. No colors were an assault on the eyes or anything like that. It's nowhere near the discrepancies I've seen on bootleg boxes. I have a lot more to say about the packaging, but we'll come back to that. Let's take a look at Modern Amy. At first glance, everything looks okay. It honestly looks fine in this shot. What's there to complain about? Well, it's time to unbox. Let's see what she's really like. I've heard these are quite brittle and fragile, so I'm being really careful. I don't want to break the figure before I even get a chance to review it. And there she is. Let's go in for a closer look. And as you'd expect, it's not gone well. You could already tell the paint job's bad. Modern Amy's eyelashes are sloppy, there's some missing white paint right between her eyes, there's a lot of excess crud on her head, and what's with her arms? Why is she posing like she's swole with those spaghetti noodle arms? And her hands? They're facing the wrong direction for the way the arms are bent. Not off to a good start. Actually, you know what? Maybe it's not that bad. Let's compare this to something which, as far as I know, isn't even rumored to have issues. I think this classic Amy Rose I bought fits the bill fairly well, so let's open this up and compare them side by side. Okay, classic Amy Rose was secured with one of those tie things, so I gotta grab some scissors to...
A few moments later.
Now that the tie's been cut, let's get classic Amy out of the blister pack.
One eternity later.
Well, that was a lot more difficult than expected. Just look at the blister pack. I had to rip that shit open like a mofo. Talk about an eternal struggle. So here they are side by side, and just with the front view, the difference is night and day. Classic Amy looks well made and refined, whereas modern Amy is just a travesty. I think this is an even more damning shot for that modern Amy action figure. Look at that visible seam line on the side of her head. It's like whoever was doing quality control didn't even bother to make sure stuff like that was smoothed out. There's nothing like that on Classic Amy. It just keeps getting worse. I don't even need to say anything for this shot. Just look at it. And it doesn't get any better down low. There's just more flaws to see. It looks like the quote-unquote white stripe on her skirt is barely even there. Her hands are jacked up in more ways than one, and as for her shoes, I've seen cleaner paint jobs in Splatoon. And it's not like these flaws are only visible with close inspection or heavy scrutiny. At the very least, once it's out of the box, you could see everything from the moon, especially those seam lines. Ugh. Now let's go over the articulation of the figure. It sucks. Her incorrectly placed hands do not swivel, and you'll likely break them off trying to get them to move in such a manner. Her arms can swivel at least. The worst part though, it's her flimsy and loose legs. Just look at how much they move when I shake her around. That really does affect her stability and posability too. You could bend modern Amy's knees, but for whatever reason, these joints don't easily move, and I feel like every time you try to bend her knees, you risk breaking them. And you want to know the icing on the cake? I put Amy's hammer in her hand for less than 3 minutes, and there was already paint transfer on the hammer. Lovely. Even though this modern Amy action figure looks like bootleg level quality, I still don't think this is counterfeit. So how can I say that despite all the scathing remarks I made? Well, I stopped talking about the packaging to open up the action figure, and there are a few key things that make me think these are defective items rather than counterfeit. I stopped before discussing DPI, and it's something that's usually pretty bad on counterfeit packaging. I've seen bootleg boxes that use low quality, low res images, and thus came out looking really blurry. However, I did not notice that with modern Amy's packaging, and just to see if I was missing something, I got some close-ups of Vector's packaging. The DPI passes the smell test, at least for me. What do you all think? Something interesting I found comes from Reddit user PitPen817. He noted the items in question have product and date codes stamped onto the packaging, which is something bootleggers never do. I checked modern Amy's packaging, and the stamp was there, as it was with Vector and Classic Amy. Maybe these are an equivalent to the foil license stickers seen on anime figure boxes? As far as the packaging is concerned, I think everything's good. Even the cut of the packaging is identical. And look, they both have the same exact plastic cover for the hang tab. As for the durability of the packaging, that's a little more dubious. The modern Amy I bought seemed fine, however, I've seen other ones where they were just demolished. The blister pack for this Sonic was completely wrecked, and I even found another modern Amy which had messed up packaging. These have seen better days. Oh my god. What did they do? Someone turned her tail into a dick. That's... I'm leaving. So with all that said and done, what's my final verdict? There's a slight change. If you feel these are bootleg, you are completely justified to think that. If you feel these are defective / factory rejects, you are also completely justified to think that. Whatever you want to call these, the bottom line is, these figures suck. Unless you're going the customizing route, they're a waste of money. Sure, it's only $6, but do something else with it. Find Classic Amy or Vector and pay $1 more. Buy a Transformer, buy an anime figure, Roblox, anything but this. Whenever you see the Jakks specific stuff at Ross now, use a more discerning eye. So where should I put this modern Amy figure? I bet you're all getting tired of me saying modern Amy, aren't ya? Well, there's no room behind my keyboard, it's pretty full there. Over to the left, I need to keep that space open, so that's no go. Over here, no, that's way too crowded. What to do? Oh, I know where I could put her. Alright, this is perfect. She'll be right at home in the trash. Oh wait, I haven't finished the review yet. I think I'll call it quits here. So where do you all stand? Team Defective or Team Bootleg? Now with names like that, it doesn't really matter. everyone's a loser. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and sub. Patreon's down low if you'd like to provide further support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.